Yeah, one.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Welcome back, Mississippi Live Weather at 6. I'm taking you all to Matt Bauman here from the gym in Northeast Mississippi Community College. It is our Mississippi Live Game of the Week. Well, this isn't specifically. This is Yazoo City taking on Greenwood. You can't show the game because of the MSHA rules on this, but certainly a good one underway there. Only a 2-point game between those two. We will have highlights of this game and all the games going on here at Northeast Mississippi Community College coming up during our 10 o'clock broadcast night. Our game of the week, which is Kosciuszko taking on Rosa Fork. Talk to Ethan Softer a little bit about that coming up here in a couple of minutes. But this evening here, it has certainly been a beautiful and sunny day. I think everybody enjoying that to a large extent. Kicks off again as we go into tonight. I'm trying to get out of the way here so we can get position. Hey, y'all, it's going to be cool, but cool is a relative term as far as tonight is concerned. Warmer afternoons are ahead. We do anticipate, again, we're going to be talking about, the temperatures way above normal deep into next week. There are some rain chances that do start to come back. I can argue for those late Sunday, much better chances to look into next week and really probably next weekend before we get to that. But over the first 12, we're 62 at 7, 51 degrees by 10, 46 is before 1 o'clock in the morning, and then 42 by 4 a.m. probably about the low as we go for tomorrow. That's still pretty mild, pretty considered for this time of the year. So temperatures coming in 73 right now out there in Belzona, 65 there in Greenwood. Greenwood plays. It's in the city behind us. We'll be kicking off the second half in a minute. So I'll have to switch the angle of my shot when that happens here. There's still kind of warm-up mode there. We're 64 in Mainbury, coming in about 68 degrees in Kosciuszko, at 70 and 65 there in Tunica. So looking at Mount Augusta, it's got the radar again. When you look back toward the south and east, you can see our storm system back that direction there, closer to Jacksonville, Florida. That is the one that brought us from tail to active weather last night. And that continues to kind of move away from us. The front behind that, the high pressure center you can see there moving through Mississippi and really Louisiana, is going to move into Mississippi as we head over the next 24 hours. And that's going to settle and keep us dry, keep us clear, at least through the first half of your weekend. Maybe not quite as perfectly sunny as we were today, but still pretty dry, all things considered. So high pressure, that is the story. And again, with the mostly clear skies for tonight, we'll have temperatures that drop relatively quickly. Considering we're 70s today, we're heading back. Probably we're going to be in the low 40s by, say, even midnight or so, and probably down there in the low 40s for those lows. Now, as we maybe bring it in just a little bit closer there, you can see that the clouds down south. High pressure will start transporting more of those up in here and provide us, again, a mild will start, I think, by Sunday morning as we look at it. The highs for your Saturday are going to be going around 71 degrees by noon time, 74 the high by afternoon under most of these stunning skies. Our winds get back around toward the south. That starts a warming trend that heads next week and eventually starts yielding some slightly better rain and eventually some storm chances to go along with that. All right, we're going to come up here in 60 seconds. We're going to look at some of those rain chances for this upcoming weekend as we break down and discuss with our Foster what's coming up here for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week. That's coming up from Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room Group Weather Center in 60 seconds.
Game day brings its ups and downs, celebration and disappointment, anxiety and relief, friends and enemies. You can always argue over who should have won, but everyone can agree on great food. Appetizers, entrees, drinks, party platters, or even the taste of sweet victory. There's something for every season at Eat With Us restaurants.
When C.K. Little opened his doors in downtown Corinth nearly 80 years ago, his plan was simple: deliver excellent service and exceed expectations. That's why we say a little gift goes a long way.
the 9th Annual World of Customs Indoor Car Show, Friday through Sunday, February 27th through March 1st in Tupelo Furniture Market, Building 5. Custom cars, trucks, and bikes, free Hot Wheels racing, and a free Hot Wheels each day for the first 50 kids. Special guest Eric Estrada from the TV show Chimps, Pinstriper Von Hot Rod, Michael Brandt of GarageBound Mobile Welding, and Bumblebee. The World of Customs Car Show, February 27th through March 1st in Tupelo Furniture Market, Building 5. Partially funded by Visit Mississippi and Tupelo Visitors Bureau. Some proceeds go to Le Bonheur Children's Hospital and Wounded Veterans Charities.
This portion of Mississippi Live Weather is presented by Little's Jewelers.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lovehon.
Okay, our Mississippi Live game of the week going to be Rosenfort taking on Kosciuszko. We're going to break this down in a lot of detail here in a minute with our Ethan Foster. It is a late game this evening. The tip-off of that going to be at 8:30, and hoping that's going to be a great game. No, it will be a great game. You have two teams that only have 3 losses. You have two teams with more than 25 wins. You have two teams that are ranked in the top 30 in the state. It is two teams that are undefeated in their individual districts. It is going to be a spectacular game. We're excited. We'll have highlights of that. And all 4 games going on here at Northeast Pacific Community College. This regional location here coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 10 p.m. this evening. I can't show you the game ongoing now because of NSHAA rules, but it is Greenwood taking on Yazoo City. It is right now a 6-point game. Looking to see, you'll see some pretty good highlights on that one coming up as well. Temperatures at this hour are coming in a little bit of mild. I mean, a little cooler than they were last hour there. At this instant, it's 63 degrees. Looks like Dave hit the button at the same time I did. So we'll go ahead and pull that right back up there. So I'll go ahead and advance that one, Gabe. Promise, Gabe, I'll advance it. Ready? That. There we go. 63. See how we did that, Gabe? That's teamwork.
That's how we make the dream work.
Yeah, it makes the green work, right? Because you got the green screen behind you. You know, obviously, we are looking at the damage surveys from yesterday's storm. Luckily, no tornadoes here in Mississippi. There was a report of one, though, out in Alabama, right?
Yes, Matt, exactly. And that's what we were looking at a second ago whenever we were talking about those Center and advance this to that damage survey. So as you can see, North Mississippi, no tornadoes in North Mississippi, but for a brief moment, we're talking just for a couple of minutes, that's where we did have this tornado touch down in EF0 close to the Trussville area. Now, Trussville, big part of my life because I grew up about 10 miles away from this. So drove this road off, and that's Highway 11 right there, I-59 just to the north, and that is close to the Pinnacle for anyone that has gone shopping over in Trussville. The Pinnacle outlets, that's where it was about a mile away from, close to the Bojangles and Freddy's there on Highway 11. That's 85 miles an hour. There is video confirming it as well, and that path, only about a mile and a half and 65 yards wide. It wasn't exactly a your typical large tornado, but it was still a tornado touchdown, still did do damage to some roofs as well as a few of the cars out there. And our thoughts and prayers are with everybody, but no fatalities, and as well as no fatalities or deaths. So that's a great sign. As we take a look on the wider scale, whenever we're talking about those alerts, still just hail here in North Mississippi compared to out in Alabama, where they did have that brief tornado report, but hail was the big factor in the entire outlook. And that's what we had that level 1 or level 2 risk for, was for some of those hail reports. And this basically verified that, that severe weather outlook as well. And as I mentioned, we were talking about this exact potential on Monday of this week. And this happened on Thursday. So that shows that you get that accurate information as quickly as possible here with Mississippi Live Weather. So keep it here for the very latest. And as we head into that spring season, trust me, you will get that accurate information with well ahead of time, with more than enough time to prepare. Winona tonight, 64 degrees, still with those blue skies showing up as that sun does set, but nonetheless a beautiful view with 64 degrees, and dew points only in the upper 30s. Now Starkville does look like the reporting station is down, but that's not taking anything away from the sunset in Stark Vegas. Diamond Dogs getting the win earlier on today, 8-4 against Arizona State, and Ole Miss, last I checked, was up 3-1 against Baylor. So hopefully the Rebels are able to pull that one out, and hopefully our Mississippi teams can keep that undefeated streak going into this tough weekend ahead. Taking a look there in Saltillo, a little look at that sunset, a beautiful sunset over there in northern Lee County. So if you do have any pictures, weather watchers out in the field, you guys showed out yesterday and you showed me that you have a phone that has a camera. Use that phone, take another picture tonight of that sunset and send it in to us, and we'll feature a few of those coming up tonight at 10 o'clock here on Mississippi Live Weather. Taking a look at our Mama Justice Doppler radar, staying on the drier side like we mentioned a moment ago, and that will continue to be the story into those overnight hours once again. Looking at some satellite imagery, I have to pull up some of the infrared technology we have here on Mississippi Live Weather to show any of that cloud cover, and that's really out here towards the east where we are getting some of those showers and storms that we got yesterday, transitioning a little bit over there towards the Atlantic coast. Here in North Mississippi, we're dry, and we'll expect to remain dry during those overnight hours, including for our game of the week. So this is Kosciuszko taking on Rosa 4 in Boonville, and it's 56 first hit, 52 by halftime, and 51 by that final buzzer. That's where Matt was talking about it. One of the headlines as we head into those overnight hours is, while it will be above average tonight, it is still late winter, which is enough to have a light jacket, as we are going to be in the mid-40s. So grab that light jacket, because by that final buzzer, of course, we'll be dealing with some cooler conditions than what we're walking into the gym in. As we continue with those overnight hours, seeing those dry conditions overhead, and as we take a look into those overnight hours, we're not only going to be dry, we're going to be clear. That's a result of high pressure over the top of North Mississippi, allowing for that sinking air to settle into the area, and that's going to keep those skies pretty clear heading into our Saturday morning. So looking to do any plans on your Saturday, looking for a great weekend forecast? Well, you have it here in North Mississippi. And if you're not going outside on your Saturday, you're not going outside tonight. You're missing out on a grand opportunity. Low temperatures, 41 degrees in Bruce, 42 Amory, 43 Columbus and Vernon. And we're in the upper 40s, Belzona, Greenwood, and Cleveland. And while it is upper 40s, it is still cool. Those blues showing up are only 10 degrees above freezing, so I don't want to overlook that. Despite the warming trend we are in, it's still going to be enough for a light jacket. But as we trend into next week, getting to a point where even the light jackets might not even be needed in those overnight hours. And again, we'll look at that in more detail, but we're dealing with a more spring-like forecast getting into primarily the end of next week, and we'll look at that in more detail here at the 6 o'clock hour. Saturday morning, staying with that high-pressure center centered right over the top of North Mississippi. One thing I want you to see with this big H in North Mississippi is the fact of the winds. Look at how basically calm these winds are over the top of that high-pressure center. You go a little bit on the outside, those become a bit more breezy. That center is the source of the sinking air, so it's not going to be as breezy. But as you get some of those tighter boundaries along the far outside points of this ridging pattern, that's where we can get some of these stronger gusts along that boundary and along those gradients. So that's where we can see some breezier conditions further towards the west as that high pressure center moves off there towards our east. And so that's where we can get some breezy conditions out of the south and the delta, and then working its way west or east of 55 as the day goes on. So if it's a pretty calm forecast to start the day, then by the afternoon, those breezy conditions should kick in for the eastern part of our viewing area. And now, since it is a calm forecast overnight, not impossible to wake up to some patchy fog, but I don't think we get those dense fog advisories like what we had this morning here in North Mississippi. I think a lot of that moisture has escaped us, and this afternoon sunshine has dried up a lot of those grounds that were just saturated as can be with all the rainfall we got yesterday. My rain gauge actually at the Manor House was at 1.5 inches. So that's a large output of rainfall with those storms that moved in yesterday. So that should all be mostly cleared out, and we're in a much drier pattern heading into the start of our weekend. Now, what we're watching heading into our weekend is going to be that cold front you saw a moment ago towards Arkansas and Oklahoma. Already seeing a few isolated showers towards Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas as that front inches closer, but that's going to be more of our story by Sunday, and we'll see that here in just a moment. 77 degrees Grenada, 77 Bruce and Houston, 76 Kosciuszko. That is a warm forecast. Look at our normal. 62 degrees. We're closer to our record high temperature compared to our average high temperature. So that shows you how abnormal this is and how spring-like this air feels. Again, we're enjoying it. After the past couple of weeks and the winter impacts that we have seen, we're ready for this warmer air to move in, or at least I am. I know a lot of folks are in North Mississippi as well. But with that spring-like air also shows some of those spring-like patterns, which means those showers working their way into the forecast, especially by the afternoon. And that's what we're getting later on into our Sunday and into late next week as well. And tracking both of those chances here as we get into the 6 o'clock broadcast and starting right here. Look at Sunday morning. There's your cold front moving into North Mississippi. And we do expect the main line right here to just be some patchy cloud cover. There is a chance at a brief shower, but with how dry things are, that cold front isn't exactly going to be producing a ton of moisture here in North Mississippi. But low temperatures still going to be on the milder side despite that front moving on through. We're 48 Water Valley, 47 New Albany, Tupelo, and Booneville, 50 Clarksdale, and 51 Belzona. As we keep our Sunday moving, though, that's where those chances increase later on into the afternoon and evening. This a result of that next disturbance moving in. So we have this cold front that's moving through the area, still trying to bring in some of that drier air, but that disturbance out towards our west, that'll start to wrap around some of that moisture in that counterclockwise motion, giving us some of those light to moderate showers. Let's zoom it out real quick and then we'll bring it back in. While the low on our surface analysis is positioned a little bit more towards the south, we do expect that low to kind of be centered right here in Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas. And as we get more into our Sunday afternoon, you can see how that just extends a little bit more towards the east and wrapping around some of this moisture as a result. Let's bring it back here to our home view to assess what's taking place specifically in North Mississippi. And that's going to be some isolated development into your mid-afternoon on your Sunday, but getting towards those late hours. As those bands begin to work their way into North Mississippi, that's where some of those light to moderate showers are expected. I don't know if I'm sold on it being this widespread, but we do have some limited potential for some of those showers late Sunday and into the overnight hours for our Monday. So starting or ending the weekend a little bit more saturated than what we're starting the weekend with, but we can survive it. And we still need that rainfall because we are still dealing with a pretty significant drought. And we're hopeful that as these rain chances move in, that'll alleviate some of those conditions. And honestly, and farmers will agree with me on this, get us ready for the growing season as we transition more into spring. High temperatures on Sunday, despite that moisture being in the forecast, we're still going to be above average once again. Our record high temperatures for Sunday are, let's see, would that be That's March 1st. That's 80 degrees set in 2023, 97, 1932. We're going to remain below that, but again, closer to our record than we are our average, with 73 in Tupelo, 71 Senatobia, 76 Greenwood and Belzona, and 72 Cleveland and Clarksdale. Now, what I want to get into real quick is what's taking place on our Futurecast in the extended term. So this is our, let me not block it with my head, a GFS model. GFS, one of our long track models, kind of forecasting some of those rain chances. And we're getting that here in North Mississippi as we go about those mid to late week time frames. So here's a look at Tuesday. There's your little bit of a break that's occurring here in North Mississippi, but then we start to get multiple disturbances moving into the area. This is that cold front moving in Wednesday. That's going to be your midweek threat. And as we get more into Thursday, some of those scattered showers working their way into North Mississippi potentially, and that disturbance will continue to be there with additional disturbances building in towards our Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So there's a look at some of those scattered showers, Oklahoma, Texas, moving east into Arkansas, and even bringing a few potential thunderstorms here into North Mississippi by Saturday, continuing into Sunday as that cold front moves on through, and then additional development into early next week as well with another low pressure center and another frontal boundary moving in. Now I know this is a lot and we just basically skimmed over it. Big reason why we didn't touch on it in too much detail is because this is not Wednesday next week. This is 2 Wednesdays away. So this isn't a long track forecast, but nonetheless wanting to let you guys know that we are seeing soggy conditions move in late next week and continue into early next week. I don't know how to word that, but in 2 weeks basically. So we're watching the long track forecast potentially as that spring season starts to shift into the forecast. Wednesday, we do have a severe weather risk area for Texas and Oklahoma. Reason why I'm showing you that is because potentially moving into our Thursday and Friday as that frontal system moves in, there is some limited potential of maybe some thunderstorms and maybe even some stronger thunderstorms. But again, we'll get that ironed out heading into next week as we get some of those shorter range models coming in. But both GFS and Euro showing some of that potential, but still consistency. Whoa, words. It's Friday, everybody. Consistency is what we need, and consistency hasn't really been shown so far in regards to the magnitude of those showers and storms. So keeping eyes on that and hopefully having a better idea of what to expect by the time we head through the weekend with our meteorologist Caleb Edelblut and into early next week with Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon and I and our meteorologist Maggie McCauley. Those limited chances, we did up Sundays to about 20% for that afternoon potential, but by Monday drying out, and we will be dry Monday and Tuesday. And there's your isolated scattered potential Wednesday through Friday as that frontal system system begins to shift into North Mississippi. Again, thunderstorms not out of the realm of possibilities, and potentially some strong thunderstorms, but ironing that out as we get closer. Tonight, we need to enjoy the beautiful forecast. It's clear, it's sunny, at least it'll be clear heading into the overnight hours. The sun is setting, but it is also going to be well above average temperature-wise, and it should be a great time out on the hardwood with our game of the week. That's where we'll join our Ethan Foster and Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. They are in Boonville at our game of the week. We'll talk to them after the break about what to expect with our matchup.
When you've been injured, don't settle for a lawyer who doesn't even know where you live. Call Langston and Lott. Local lawyers, personal service, real results.
Again, these will not be tornado-producing thunderstorms. These are kind of high-base storms, so they're hail producers, hail threat. Probable that we've been dropping some large hail, probably in excess of an inch inside.
And of course, we will keep eyes on that as well. Now, this is looking more towards the south and west.
That is 65 dBz. This is golf ball size hail, easily.
This is in downtown Tupelo right now. Folks are driving very cautiously because of the heavy downpour.
This is looking the same way that Ethan's looking at there. So this is the backside of that thunderstorm. Still a decent amount of hail aloft in that.
So this is probably the front of it as it continues moving through that Boeing segment.
It's a large output of large hail in the Dumas area, and that was one of our more notable storms.
We've had some hailstones out here in the last few minutes, north side of Tupelo.
So we have had some power disruptions from this coming through at the highest end, 3+ inches.
Welcome back here from Boonville. I'm just going to that off on the side on Ethan Foster. Ethan, we got a huge game coming to state today. Already underway, and one of the teams coming to the down there next.
Absolutely, we're halfway done with our slate of games today. Well, I say halfway done. We've got game number 2 between the Greenwood Bulldogs, the Yazoo City Indians going on right now. The Greenwood up, and I got 6 points. The fourth period just started here, so we're almost halfway through the night.
And to Sweeney County and Itawamba,
game, Fish County is a fun team this time. We saw them earlier in the year, about 7 weeks ago. And they were fun to watch them. Had a big win earlier today, so we moved with Big Mouths. Another team known for basketball. One of the best players in the state before in Magnolia. Maybe you'll see her in my highlight later. Maybe not. Who knows?
usually the bigger stars step up. Any other things that were notable from that game? I don't know if you want the whole highlight.
Right. Well, I will tell you this, man. Probably the most notable thing is the crowd. And right now, there's not a huge crowd out, but when we got here, when I got here earlier, the crowd behind us was packed. It was a lot of people. A lot of the teams stayed here behind us, so our fans will stay here. But Fish County had a crazy team support. They also have a really nice student section over to my right there. I got some video of. They were teams. Game of the week, all about players too. And you.
Okay, so next game tonight, again, hold on. It's on phone audio. Hold on a second here. It's on phone audio. Give me a moment to make sure to get this right. Freaking tape to make sure I'm the right thing. Yeah, it went on iPhone. Hold on.
So obviously the Tisch County game, huge earlier. Excited for those girls heading down to Jackson. I heard that they're heading down Sunday, so hoping to make it a full week down there. What's the next game up tonight?
Yeah, so next up we've got Louisville and Senatobia.
So two area teams again.
Two area teams again, and then of course our game of the week tonight. Does anybody remember Kosciuszko and Rosa Fort? So one team that is a little bit further away and one team that I have some experience with, but I'll have to mention that later in my wrap-up tonight.
Well, the thing is these are two teams, a combined 6 losses between the two, each with 3 losses, both with 25 wins. These are some really, really stacked teams. Both have scored mid-90s or higher over the course of the season.
Yeah, and Rosafort actually scored 95 in the first round of the tournament. And so just 2 games ago, Kosciuszko, a team that scored 100 in the regular season, you don't see college teams scoring 100. So that means that both these teams are efficient on the offensive side of the glass, and you got to be able to play defense to win games like that, right? You don't want to have to score 100 points to win, but if you're good at it, play good defense, sometimes it just happens. Always interesting to see that happen at the high school level.
Absolutely. So that's going on. A Mississippi Live Game of the Week presented by Casey Locke coming up tonight. You know, we'll have highlights, again, of all 4 of these games that are taking place this evening at Northeast Mississippi Community College, the host here. You know, next week, obviously, the action moves down to Jackson. You saw, the first team, that we had tonight, Tishomingo County, they're, punching their tickets. Do you think they have what it takes to go all the way?
Well, Tisch County is a team that I picked to win before. Would have picked them again tonight, even if it was against another local team, IAHS. They remind me a lot of Ingomar, a team that just plays good basketball, passionate on the court and on the sidelines too. So yes, I do think Tisch County is a team that can make it very far. We've seen them play very well, and when you've got possibly the best basketball player in the state, you're thinking maybe you can make a decent run with that talent.
But there's a lot of talent surrounding her as well, and they play as a good team. I think that's one. Sometimes you have the best player, and they have 40 points, and nobody else has anything. They distribute the ball very well.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but there's another girl that plays on the team. Her name is Kaisley Timms. They actually call her Lightning. So we like to say that Kaisley Timms and Meg Moore are thunder and lightning for Tisch County, okay? And that's good because we're repping the Bulldogs right now. So with a combo like that and so many other supporting characters on that team, they're just going to be hard to stop. They're going to score a lot of points, and they're going to be dominant.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we'll see those highlights at 10, all the highlights of the games here, including our Mississippi Live Game of the Week presented by Casey Locke coming up. That is Kosciuszko and Rosafort. Huge matchup. 2 teams are just excellent, and we're looking forward to some great highlights. Anything else you want to add, Ethan?
No, just excited to do this. Got to see some good basketball Wednesday night at ICC. Happy to be here tonight for some more tonight at Northeast. And you won't see me in the studio tonight with this, but you will hear my voice, and you will see a lot of good highlights. So make sure you tune in tonight at 10. I'm going to be working hard to get this all done and ready for Gabe to show tonight, and it's going to be another fun one.
Okay, yeah, and you didn't do?
We didn't pick.
You didn't pick.
Of the week. Well, Matt, it was a tough pick because these 2 teams, Matt, are only separated by about 16 spots in the top 30 teams, okay? Kosciuszko is number 15. Rosaport's number 31. So my pick for the night is going to be the Kosciuszko Whippets. Not mainly in part due to that fact of the rankings, but also I used to work down at a summer camp called Central Hills in West, right next to Kosciuszko. So have to give them a shout out, not too far from there, and they're the Whippets.
Yeah.
What other team have you ever seen that's the Whippets? We know Bulldogs. We got Bulldogs on the court right here, but never Whippets. So cool mascot and a good team. I'm going with Kosciuszko, hoping to be 8-0 tonight. We'll see.
Man, that is true. I mean, I was tempted to go the other direction until you said the 8-0, because I think Rosafort, they have been very consistent, I feel like, on the offensive end, especially of late, and hopefully, I don't know. I think it's going to be a good game either way.
Yeah, well, I just think back to the Ingomar West Lowndes game. I picked Ingomar to win that game. They did, but it was after overtime, and it made me sweat. So I'm prepared to sweat another game out tonight if that's what it takes. But regardless, we hope they have a fun time, have a good game. Somebody's going to be going to the big house. We'll see who it is all tonight at 10.
Absolutely. So that's coming up on Mississippi Live tonight at 10. Highlights from 4 games, including people here across North Mississippi. Our next live broadcast here in the Room to Room Weather Center will be at 10 p.m. Gabe will be back again. He'll also be tracking the latest on some of those very limited late weekend rain chances, storm chances for next week. Coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 10. And you'll see Caleb again tomorrow at 6 and 10. Monday through Friday, Maggie's there, the whole crew. Keep it here for the latest.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. We knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lobhon has proven himself trustworthy